Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. To support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out to Tom Herkins, Tina Baker, FlatEarthChannel.com, Texas Mike, Skeptic936, Sam Hines, Sally Ballis, Rune, Reinhardt, Craig, Naibai, Matt, Life is Short, Kirsten Smith, Jeranism, God Rockin, Fireball X, Felix Hung, Edwin Johnson, David Wayne Foster, David Rakia Gafford, Dank, Chow Young Cat, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As the Earth, Billy Highvault, Alistair Main, and Adrian Quintana. So huge props to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Thank you very much indeed. Really do appreciate the support. Now, we do have a full audience as we're actually in the transition stages between two live shows, so I'll raise the mic on both Google Plus and Discord, and you can enjoy the dulcet tones of whoever the hell is in there while I set up for the next live show.
Imagine if I go vector.
Yeah, 10 men people are brainwashed, they're not using their brains. They're stagnant.
Well, it's like Jose this morning. He shows that picture that was debunked 10 times over, and the water, the fluid dynamics, as Nathan brought up, is level. And he's trying to say, well, look, you see the curve perspective, and that proves the Earth is curving. And well, what about the water?
What picture? What picture did Jose?
That bridge. That bridge with the road on the sides. And the
Pontchartrain?
No, the bridge with the two roads on the side and then the water in between like a canal. I live by the ocean, man.
The one he took when he was still coming on this panel as a flat earther?
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
The one
now
that
we're just gonna go bring up old shit now. Wow.
The one that Nathan deconstructed on a show. Who knows what number that is? Step by step. It was a belly laugher. Yep, that one.
That was last week.
That's funny. I wish I showed up earlier for that. I'll have to watch that again later.
Shout out to Jose, just doing a great job for us to kill the globe quicker and quicker.
Shout out retracted. We don't shout out demonstrated retards. Sorry.
Sometimes we shout them out just so that the shout out can be retracted.
So scientific method, huh? Independent variable. Where is the independent John guy?
Johnny Pseudo? John Watson?
Yeah, the independent Johnny.
Johnny Pseudo.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion right here, right now, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. Now, we are joined by Chocolate Sane, Quantum Eraser, who else we got? Adam Meakin, Tim, The One, Righteous Force. What else we got? 10th Man. Did I miss anybody? Paul? I think that's everybody. How you all doing?
Good, good.
Doing well.
We also have Mr. Tim Osmond.
Tim Osmond's a little cuck boy, man. He's a little flat earth debate cuck boy. What's up, guys?
Yeah, and it's not the gig is up, you knucklehead. It's
Hey,
the jig
Sandra,
is
how
up.
you doing,
That's
bud?
the phrase. You friggin' clown.
You want to get bent over and spanked
gig-
again? Because
the
I'm
gig
here
is
for
up.
you.
The gig is up, Nathan. The gig is up. You friggin'
Oh, the gig is up, dude. I mean, there's going to be
It's
some
the
flat earth
jig is
knucklehead.
The jig is up is the phrase, you retard.
Gig. It's a
It's not
gig,
gig.
bro.
The phrase is the jig is up.
Well, the gig is up because he's trying to make money off this.
You're
It's a
a
gig, you
knucklehead,
fucking
you are.
idiot.
You're a friggin'
It is the
knucklehead.
jig is
Hey,
up.
Oh, okay. I'm a
Fucking
creation
90
scientist
fallacies
here.
in about 90
Oh.
minutes. Good job, you freaking clown.
Well, we're all in a treat. 'cause
Oh,
we
wow,
didn't-
wow, that's a good one.
I love these ad homs. Those are great.
I was
It's
going to say,
wonderful.
when you're all done with the ad homs,
Yeah, Paul, go back to the Bible, bro.
let me know when
Is
you're
that
done.
the best whole argument?
That's about the best advice
I don't
you
do
gave.
a thing.
He's a fundy. Hey, did you figure out what Gibbs free energy was yet, you friggin' clown? Why don't you tell us? What is
It's
a
really
positive
funny.
Gibbs
It's
free
really funny that you call me a
What
fundy
is
since
a
you're a fundy
positive Gibbs
Christian.
free energy? Tell us what positive Gibbs free energy right now. Don't type anything. What is positive Gibbs free energy? Go now.
What does that have to do with fucking anything?
Now.
What does that have to do with anything?
Now.
You literally look like a turtle, and your
Fundy
girl looks like a.
You think? Listen, being a
I feel
fundy
sorry for
materialist,
you, kind of.
right? You think ink, paper, and glue molecules can author
Oh
technical?
my god, you were saying this years ago.
Yeah,
Enoch
years ago.
2021.
Argument to
Enoch
age fallacy.
2021. Go look him
Another
up.
fallacy. Argument to age fallacy. Years ago. How do
Yeah,
you get
you were saying this
nothing?
years ago.
How do you get something from nothing from your religion, Timmy Clown?
What religion?
Big
Your
Bang.
religion. You're a fundy materialist.
Big Bang.
Who said I was a materialist?
You're either a materialist, right? There's only two choices.
Oh yeah, because it's
You're
a false
either a
dichotomy.
materialist. Shut your clown mouth. You're either a materialist or you're a creationist. Only two.
Dude, if I saw you in real life, I'd put you in the ground, bro.
I'd
Like,
rip your
seriously.
friggin' lungs
Hey,
out
wait.
after I
Come
shove
on.
my hand down your throat. You
Oh,
friggin'
okay.
clown.
Okay,
Yeah, you
Grandpa.
clown. Yeah, you know I would. Yeah.
Yeah,
Punk
you've met your match, dude.
match.
So, should we do a bit of housekeeping?
You haven't said a damn thing, Timmy. What are you talking about?
Let's see how we get on. Any signs of Earth curvature?
Go ahead, Tim.
Oh, for sure, dude.
Not
Hey,
from
look at all the
Tennessee.
Salt Lake City observations. They all show curvature.
Let's have a look.
Yeah,
We see?
you've seen them before, dude.
Oh, right. The ones with the drone.
Oh, right. No, actually, Nathan, there's also a Nikon P900 and a Nikon D3200 and an auto level. Also, we went to the Bonneville Salt Flats, Nathan, and we did GPS observations and experiments.
Yeah, and we crushed
Nathan.
that on Ranty's show. Made you look like a clown that you are. It was easy. We
Yeah, you
laughed
didn't
at
debunk anything. You just went
Oh,
and
you
said
didn't
that
debunk
I had a
anything.
bunch of logical
Great
fallacies. Wow,
argument.
good job.
90 fallacies in less than 90 minutes. Great job, clown.
Yeah,
So let's
wow,
walk
I
through
can
it.
say that
Wait,
about you.
Wait. Just walk through it. Share your observation.
Okay,
Let's walk
Paul,
through it.
let's go through it. Paul, let's go through it. Let's see. The Bible says that God, he created the
Red
earth
herring.
and the
Red
universe.
herring fallacy. Red
Oh,
herring
red
fallacy.
herring, guys. Red herring. Guys, we're gonna go with the red herring today.
Shut up, clown.
Oh, good one, dude. Hey, look, it's
Share
a
your-
little
share your-
quantum eraser here from another country. Wow.
Hey, Ranty, how
You're
you doing?
reading each other.
Good to have you,
Hey,
Ranty.
how's it going?
Very well. Seen some old faces
Yeah, I've
for
just
some
been
reason.
watching.
We're the
Sorry.
circus.
Yeah, I was just saying, I was just watching Jose's stream. He recorded the pre-show. He's uploaded it now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's nice.
he's live streaming it.
You mean his
That's good.
him getting demolished?
Oh, he's
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the one.
Nathan's one of the best demolishers, dude. For sure, man. He's got so many facts. Facts, bro. I'm gonna send you a fax with Nathan's name on it.
Boy, you seem triggered, Tim.
I know. What gives? What's up?
triggered, Timmy.
I think
Oh,
Timmy
he's
missed
got
that.
Oh, I'm triggered, guys. Hey, guys, the flat Earth.
Timmy
man.
missed
There's so many
us, right?
truths. There's so many truths with the flat Earth, guys. I'm so triggered right now, man.
There is
Are you
there is
gonna
something
retire
new.
after Flat Earth
There is
today
something-
again? Because you keep saying you're done with Flat Earth, but
Oh, thanks for
somehow
watching my
you're
channel. My name
still-
is Tim Osman. Please subscribe, like, and give me money.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I am.
Robert,
I am
you're about
subscribed.
the most useless person
I
that's on the
know.
planet.
Go ahead,
Literally.
bro. Yeah.
You are probably
Go
the
ahead.
most
Go
ignorant,
ahead.
stupid person on the flat Earth.
I know, right?
Get it out.
This
Wow.
retard, right? Unbelievable, man.
Oh yeah.
Get it all out, Timmy. Get it out.
Share
Yeah,
your
get it out.
pain, Crayon
Yep.
Muncher.
Crayon Muncher. I used to say this all the time.
okay,
I
okay,
still
come
say
on.
the same thing over and over
Let's
again.
stop with the ad homs.
Hey,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm happy to take your observations to pieces again if you want, Tim. Is that what you wanted?
Yeah, let's do that, Tim. Bring your observations.
Observations has been shared for over a year and a half. You guys are just fucking clowns. I'm not interested, actually. You guys,
Okay.
you know,
We're
Nathan,
fucking clowns.
money.
We're
You guys
fucking clowns. Is that what you got?
Stop
Is that what
rumpusing
you got,
him.
Tim?
Just, let's find out why he's
you
here.
are the most ignorant person in flat Earth. Just shut your pie hole, dude. Just saying.
Oh, Timmy. You need a Kleenex for your feelings right now? You need a
Oh, ad
Kleenex,
homs.
Timmy?
You're gonna say I do ad homs, but Nathan continuously does ad homs towards people, and you just let him do it. Do you call
After he
him out?
destroys your arguments,
Or
sure.
are you in a cult?
Doesn't do ad homs.
You have any
Define ad
arguments?
hom. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let this dumbass define ad hom.
Yeah,
define it.
let's define stuff for quantum eraser.
Right,
'cause
define
you're a
it.
funny
Because I'm
Christian.
saying you don't know what it is.
You define it, Tim.
You don't know what it is, do you? You don't know what it is. Define it, clown.
An ad hominem?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, go
Yeah. Right now.
So instead of attacking the argument, I'm gonna attack the person.
Oh, you
That's
just
correct.
looked it up, right?
Spot
So
on.
how did Nathan do it?
That's spot on, pretty much.
He
What was
does
wrong
it
with
every
that?
day.
What was wrong with
Oh,
that?
really?
Hold on,
Provide
both
an
of you.
example.
Hold on. What's wrong with that? That was correct. Rather than attacking the argument, you attack the person. What's wrong with that?
Nothing. Support
Fair
it
enough.
now. He claimed that you did it. Support it. How'd he do it?
I don't know. I think there's about 900 shows that you can go
Yeah,
back and
I don't
watch.
know.
Maybe you're not
Just
paying attention.
Let's generalized assertion fallacy.
Maybe you're
from
not
a
paying
clown.
attention, Churchy.
So you don't want us to take your pictures apart like we did last time, then? What about
Oh
axial
yeah, you took them
rotation?
apart. Let's
The subject of the moment.
see. How did you take them apart again? What'd you do?
Well, we can
Well,
do it
show
now
me,
if you
pull 'em
want.
up.
I can do it again.
Ah,
Yeah, duh.
the hard drive.
Let's just establish the
Pull
claim.
your
Is
girly
the
ankles out.
is the claim that there's an obstruction, correct?
Is there not an obstruction on my pictures?
Well, I'm asking you.
Wow, what's all with your proofs, man?
I'm asking
Let's
you.
go.
Next question will be if the answer is yes, what is causing the obstruction would be my next question.
What is what?
Causing the obstruction.
Oh, that's very simple. With other experiments and tests that we've done here in the trap house, guys.
Did he say experiment?
Yeah, I heard that too.
Oh,
This is going to be quicker than we thought.
experiment.
Constituent parts of his experiment, Crayon Muncher.
Oh, no. We'll get to his experiment.
I
That's
need
fine.
the independent variable, I need the dependent variable, and I need the null hypothesis.
Wrong. You dumbass!
No! Have you ever done anything?
Parts of an experiment, you dumbass! Thanks for hammering yourself in the
Have you
head.
ever done anything?
You clown.
Anything?
So he asked what an experiment was, and you said null hypothesis? No.
I'm trolling because that's what you guys used to say.
Yeah, you did
No,
kind
no.
of just play yourself there, Tim. So
I'll just tell you, the three constituent parts of an experiment would be the independent variable, cause,
variable,
dependent variable, effect, and control variables.
dependent variable,
And controls, that's
and
right.
the control variable.
That's right,
Just
that's
like
correct.
Yeah, and guess what? You guys have never
Just
done
like
any of those.
Dumbass third grader would do.
Educate Timmy. Educate Timmy.
There is a new term on the block.
Oh
though.
yeah, it's educated me.
There's a
You
new
don't even know
term.
English, dude. Go back to the foreigner language.
Just trying to give you a little update. There's not much news that comes around these parts. Most things are old and recycled, unfortunately. But there is something new if you want to hear it. So, the new...
Please
Right,
inform
it's
me.
not that exciting. I don't want too big a build-up. Come on. So it turns out... it turns out that the globe heads in this arena are actually science deniers.
Oh wow, you guys know science because
Would you
you're
turn
probably
fag on
flat earthers. Yeah, totally,
You turned
dude. Oh,
fag
yeah.
on it.
Flip the script. I love it,
I
bro.
don't know.
Turn fag on us. Flip
It's-
your script, fag.
No, that's just the company keeps. How did the gay pride go?
Oh, that's not an ad hominem. Hey, he's ad hominem.
I know it's a question.
Right now.
No, it's a question. You said you were going to a gay pride festival to convert homosexuals. Is that incorrect? Those were your words.
It's a flat Earth, dude.
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
flat Earth, bro.
That's correct. So I'm asking, how did the gay pride parade you attended to convert homosexuals to flat Earth? How did that go?
That's not a conversion. He went over to pick up. He used pickup lines.
Man, I have several girlfriends, but I'm definitely gay for sure.
I didn't suggest anything of the
I
sort.
didn't even go to that.
I didn't suggest
festival,
that. I don't know why you're defending
primary
that.
school are they from?
I'd just like to say that's very telling, as I didn't in any way imply that or ask that. I asked how it went, and you're defending your sexuality. That's very telling, but I won't dwell on that too much.
Yep. Explaining an inconsequential event, Timmy. Thanks again.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, inconsequential.
Yeah, I wasn't asking. I wasn't
Like
asking you
every
to
single
justify your
day I
sexuality. I
make
just
a
wondered if you converted any homosexuals to flat Earth. That was all.
Flat Earth. No, I didn't go, actually. I was wanting to go, but I didn't go. I also wanted to go to the climate change hoax thing that they have here every Friday. Go tell them that we should go nuke the volcanoes because they give off so much CO2.
Nuke the volcanoes.
I troll people.
How about the heliocentric spinning ball hoax?
The heliocentric model, or even the geocentric model, will always work much better empirically than the
Geocentric.
flat Earth.
Why don't you explain the Coriolis effect to us, Timmy Clown?
Oh, okay. Let's go with the Coriolis. Hey, you want gravity next?
Yeah. We've covered Earth curve. Now we're on to axial rotation. Coriolis, yes, please.
any scientific evidence of it, sure.
No, we'll do Coriolis first.
Coriolis, let's see. Well, when I shoot my 338 Magnum over
338 Magnum. What a
hold on.
dumbass.
Just give him some air.
Lapua Magnum, yeah, I have pictures of me doing it actually. Thanks.
Oh, I'm so
Anyway.
impressed. You mean you could shoot a gun? Wow. What a
Yeah, and how come all the apps actually, when you shoot over a certain distance, start to take the Coriolis into
Make a
effect, and you won't hit
1500
your target
meter
unless
shot
you do.
deadpan.
Yeah,
Well, you were
John,
still getting your
John,
ass
please.
wiped.
Just want to hear his example.
And I make those shots. I make those shots all the time, though, with the
Get
Coriolis.
the fuck out of here.
So what
You're
you?
a wuss.
Ah, God, please. Come on. So what you're saying is you're accounting for Earth rotating underneath the bullet.
That's the explanation, but it could be something else. But yes, the apps, all the apps, you can Look at them; they do take it all the variables actually, not just Coriolis.
I see.
Yeah, sure.
So just so I'm straight. So
Yeah, that's right. Show us them. Show us you doing it.
So-
Show us you doing it.
I don't need it. Just need to clarify what's being asserted. So the bullet leaves the barrel of the gun, and the Earth continues to rotate underneath the bullet once it leaves the gun. And you're saying you have to account for the fact that the Earth rotates underneath the bullet
With an app.
with an
You're
app.
shooting north to south. Yeah, and yes, like a sniper has a little buddy, a little person crunching numbers for him. Nowadays, you can have a phone
Spotter?
that will actually do that for you.
Everybody
Hey,
just let
Timmy.
him make his
Spotter
point.
and Tim Clown.
Oh,
Timmy.
The
God.
person.
You know when you go to a gun range, is there any signs up there that says where they account for Coriolis? Because I'd really like to see one of them.
Okay, that's lovely.
Where they account for Coriolis, Ranty.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see the gun range.
He's
You know,
telling
the
us
sign
that.
outside.
I'm not
Hold
even
on,
gonna go at you
Ranty.
today.
He's telling us that. He's saying he has to account for Coriolis. He is this example. His
No, he said
first-hand
he uses an
example.
app.
His first-hand example is him accounting for it. The amount he gets from the app is irrelevant. He's saying he has to account for it. The way he gets the numbers is from an app, and then he adjusts and makes the shot. That's his example, first-hand example. My question would be that given that you're accounting for Earth rotating underneath a bullet when it leaves the barrel of a gun, wouldn't that also necessitate Earth rotating underneath an aeroplane when it leaves the ground like the bullet leaves the gun?
No, it's powered, and Rumpus and all these people have actually told you this many times. Many times. It's not a ballistic. Okay, it's very simple.
I
Very
see.
simple.
So the fact that an aeroplane is powered, so therefore hand gliders have the Earth rotating underneath them. Then
Perhaps I haven't looked that up. Perhaps. Yes.
So you are under the impression that you can jump on a hang glider, and then, so long as you can stay in the air, you could travel from, say, Charlotte, North Carolina to LA in about an hour and a half just by staying in the air on a hang glider. You think that?
Bro, I'll do more, man. I'll visit you in UK, dude. I'll be like, hey, 1,000 miles an hour, I'm gliding right towards you, bro. That's what we'll do.
So can you explain this powered flight difference between the hang glider and the aeroplane? If it's left the non-inertial spinning reference frame, how is it any different whether or not you've got an engine attached?
Probably because the airplane is actually using its four forces to stay afloat, and a ballistic is going to be a different situation.
You told us that the
no
color
worries.
of
So
the
hold on. Can we stop the laughing? I just want to understand. So you're saying if it's powered flight, it won't experience Coriolis. So if I've got a drone and I just launch it off the ground, and you've got a non-inertial spinning reference frame underneath, you won't see Coriolis because it's got a blade or it's flying with an engine. Is that correct?
Affirmative.
No, that's wrong. So,
darn.
Yeah,
to a
you
flat
see-
earther? Okay.
It's okay. You've got two choices now, Tim. Either I can explain why you're wrong, or you can talk through every single word I say. That's up to you. Jose chose to talk through everything. We'll see how you get on. So, in my example with a drone on a non-inertial spinning reference frame, the example could be demonstrated quite simply with a roundabout and a drone.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Already talking through me, I see, Tim. Like Jose. Struggling, triggered, Fundy beliefs being shattered.
I'm not going.
Time for rumpusing? I would think so. I'd think this would be the point when I destroy your argument that you need to talk
I'm
through.
going to go on Jose's. You can catch me on Jose's.
Yeah,
if
you
you're watching
deserve
Nathan
it. You're a retard just like them. Get
I'd,
out of here.
I'd like to get to the end. Oh, he's
Yeah,
run
you
away.
clown, you run away.
No more rumpusing. I want to come to the conclusion of the point. I didn't say Earth. I just said non-inertial spinning reference frame. He automatically assumed Earth because he doesn't have any deviation in that example. I didn't say Earth because I was immediately going to use a roundabout where a drone being powered makes fuck all difference to whether or not you'll see deviation. Of course, on Earth, with the same exact parameters, we don't see deviation. On a roundabout, we do. So that's a massive problem and why he's incorrect. Having a rotor and a motor won't stop a drone from deviating when it leaves a roundabout. It will. That's Coriolis effect. It won't on Earth because Earth isn't spinning. But Tim slipped up big time and had to run away with his tail between his legs when his concise argument he placed without rumpusing got demolished here by me. Very troubling for the fundies like Jose and Tim, who decided to make a reappearance for some reason. Earth's not spinning.
You just missed us.
I think I counted as soon as he came in. I think I counted like 4 or 5 balances right off the bat.
I mean, the globe is looking pretty bad, guys. This is what you got. This is what you're sending.
All they can do is roll. All they can do is roll.
Tim in despair.
Thank you for joining, though, Tim. Nice to have you back on the show.
Nathan, I think Timmy was the one having nightmares last night.
Yeah, it's because we're never going to be accused of being science deniers ever again. But the globe heads will, and I think this has struck a nerve. Nobody wants to be called a science denier, and when every argument you put forth uses pseudoscience that used to be called the proof of Earth spinning and the proof of Earth's sphericity, unfortunately your proof is seeded in pseudoscience now, isn't it, fundies? And when we come to describing what science is, we're told science doesn't prove things. Yes, it does. We're told science isn't establishing cause. Yes, it is. We're told things like an independent variable can be location. No, it isn't. That's real science that's being denied by fundies. So the globeheads on this argument, they're science deniers. Globeheads, not flat earthers. We're talking real science on the flat earth side of this argument.
Don't forget, Nathan, time can be an independent variable too. Don't forget that when you say that. Just don't forget.
Yeah, to somebody that's reified the bending of a conceptual medium known as space-time into a non-force that you can think of as a force but isn't actually a force called gravity, then you're going to assert that time's an independent variable when it's in fact a concept. You can't bend concepts.
Guys still there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Timmy Clown, idiot. 3 years ago, I was on Gem Panda show. Me, Cathexis, I think it was Timmy Clown, a couple other knuckleheads on the show. About 35 minutes in explaining to Gem Panda what the Coriolis effect was, right? Timmy got it real quick, right? Surprisingly, because he's retarded, but he did get it. And he was laughing at Gem Panda, right? For not being able to friggin' reconcile it. Right, so Timmy knows this, but he just continues to whistle past the graveyard, play his little bitch moves. Right, that's always he's got nothing. Friggin' stars spinning idiot.
He didn't actually say anything.
Didn't say anything? What do you mean?
Well, from a point of bolstering his position, he didn't say anything. You asked him to put out an argument for his position, and all he did was ad hoc.
Well, Tentman science is on our side. There is nothing for him to say.
Well, I think the science denier statement has got a lot of these globers. I to have him come on the show today, and after John Thor's video of you talking about that, it's not a coincidence.
Well, he exposed himself again, right? I asked him, what are the 3 constituent parts of an experiment? He said, You know, his little bitch-made voice, the independent variable, dependent variable. Then he said, null hypothesis. What a knucklehead. You'd fail 5th grade general science, Timmy Clown, and 3rd grade basic reasoning. Hard.
I think that it was very, very good that Timmy came here to show how desperate he is in his globehead situation.
No, it's good that
Not
he shared
even
his
a lot. It
pain.
was
I
actually
agree.
nice for him to come on here and
Yeah,
just insult us with no arguments. Absolutely.
We're here to help these people. You know, it's nice that he shared his pain. It's the first step in a step to recovery, you know, and we're here for you, Tim.
Yep. Sure.
There is no recovery. There is no recovery. It's only way they could do it is a full lobotomy.
They don't like being called science deniers. Jose comes on, Timmy comes on. There was a boycott going on. The boycott's over. They're pour salt in our wounds by calling us science deniers. We got to stop that.
Hey, you know what, gentlemen? Shout out to Neil deGrasse Tyson. You're a science denier. Come on here.
They're all science deniers.
Well, they have to know what it is first to
Took the
deny
words
it.
out of my mouth.
They
Took the
don't
words
even
out of
know
my
what
mouth.
it is.
Exactly. They're going to have a struggle to deny something they don't understand, which is often the case in these arguments between flat earthers who know what they're talking about and globeheads that are basically science deniers, as we're calling them. However, the reality when you dig below that layer of the onion is that they don't actually know what science is. So denying it, they don't know what it is first of all. They need to know what it is first to deny it, and they don't. They haven't got a vaguest idea, as demonstrated quite eloquently by Tim. Null hypothesis? That's not part of an experiment.
Yeah, that's Timmy. Poor desperate Timmy.
Unbelievable.
He's
Love it.
Talk.
I love it. Just let them open their mouths, man. It's all you got to do. Just let them talk. And everyone sees them. They're exposed for the whole world to see, man. I hope some new people are watching this.
For the benefit of the audience, that's what globeheads are. Clowns.
Well, how many times have we heard on video them saying science doesn't prove anything?
When they were
On
saying
video, I've
hold
had
on.
them tell me that.
Oh my God.
Good job, Vanilla.
I'm on mute.
Science doesn't prove things right on their videos, but for 3 years they were telling us that we have to deny all of science, right? Obviously, because it proved their heliocentric, spinning ball-tard space monkey religion. So how can it prove, in one sense, for 2.5 years, their heliocentric spinning ball space monkey religion, and now it doesn't prove things? Which one is it?
Well, they've always had pseudoscience for that proof. And so when it comes to real science, they have to fight it because it doesn't prove it.
Yeah, globeheads are scared that we're educating the audience.
Like I said, it's reaching critical mass now. You got everyone attacking them with it. Like I said, I'm just sitting back here smiling, right? Because you clowns, clinical level, Dunning-Kruger, wiki, Discovery Channel parroting pretender clowns, the jig is up. The jig, not the gig.
The gig is up.
Covered by the warm blanket of the scientific method.
I don't think you should dwell on the gig is up. I mean, it's a mute point.
No,
Did you hear me before? I said I'm on mute.
I heard it, Chocolate.
No, I didn't catch it. Are you going to explain it?
No, I'm on mute.
Apparently, Mr. Timmy Clown doesn't understand the difference between mute and moot. 2 different words, Timmy.
Yeah. For about, I don't know, it was a couple years. Cathexis and I we would go on Moot and laugh our ass off at him. And we wouldn't correct him because it was so damn funny that he would say, why don't you just go on Moot? And confuse the two words. It's a clown show, right? And the funniest part of it is these guys think they're some type of intellectuals. That's the truly hilarious part of this, man.
Well, isn't it that the exact Dunning-Kruger symptom?
Yeah, that's Dunning-Kruger to a T, yes.
Well, Bill G posted in chat that they found pressure at the edge of the solar system. I said, well, why don't you demonstrate it? And he didn't respond. I mean, we can have a vacuum here in a good experiment, and you could introduce air pressure to a vacuum, and we'll see if it works. I'm sorry. We already did that. It fills the available volume. Sorry, Bill.
Vacuum.
I think now they have pressure all over the whole model. Scientific pressure.
Scientific pressure? What the hell is that?
Just playing with words and their meanings.
Just attach the word scientific to something that you've got a gross failing for in your model, and then Bob's your uncle.
Yeah.
Scientific unicorns.
Hey, Bill G, don't respond to my statement. Demonstrate it, please. Demonstrate gas pressure next to a vacuum. 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum, by the way. Demonstrate it.
I need to get a screenshot of that picture that they said was taken when, I think it was Voyager, turned around or something to that effect and took a picture of Earth from, like, I think it was from Saturn, some far out in the claimed solar system bullshit with them by a planet, looking at Earth as a single dot. So I need that image, and I'll put it up on part of the screenshots and say, right, so you're saying no, Earth's got a gradient, and like in that particular image, the moon would be basically right next to Earth. It would make sod all difference to the scale because it's a couple of pixels in a massive image. So therefore you go, right, what's this black bit here then? 10 to the minus 17 torr, and this little pixel here, that's got gas pressure, has it? Oh yeah, why isn't it going into the vacuum? Gradient. You see how long that argument lasts with that visual on.
A gradient is the answer.
Yeah, Bill G says that I misread or didn't follow chat correctly. He's saying now, I am not saying it's real. I'm just saying they are saying it, 10th man. Why are you saying it at all without any proof?
Earth is obviously an observably flat. Space is fake. It doesn't exist. Gravity is a lot of nonsense.
Music to my ears.
So, Bill G, do you believe the Earth is flat, or are we a sphere? Which one is it? I'm confused based on the way you're responding to your own chat.
Maybe he's confused as well.
Do we still have Discord?
Yeah, very quiet.
Discordians, Globetardian Discordians, come off Moot and share your pain.
I think that's all you're going to get.
Until the show ends.
Crickets are scared.
I said this yesterday after the show finished, I've got no issue with there being no challenge to anything we provide here. generally speaking, from the people in Discord. You know, no worries. This is nice and easy.
There
and
is
stress-free.
absolutely no challenge to any of them. They have no answers for them.
No, quite right.
Okay, Bill G, I know you're saying it because they're saying it, but what do you believe? Can you just tell me what you believe? That's dancing around the question.
Are you talking to me?
Talking to a guy in the chat who, I don't know Bill G's position. He might be a flatty, he might be a globehead, but there's going to be, again, I think, a slight shift in the chat on account of the fact that just admitting that you're a globehead here now comes with a fairly high chance of a pummeling from the chat itself. Most of the people in the regular chat, especially on this live show, we're in the second channel, so the audience tends to be that much more focused. You know, they watch for a greater period, and I would imagine that if you're a fundy here in the chat, not to mention the fact that 10th man's scratching at the, chomping at the bit to get at them as well, you're going to get a fair old pummeling if you assert some fundy globehead belief. So it might be that he just doesn't want to say, yeah, I'm a globehead, so everyone pounces all over him. And who can blame him at the moment?
No. Bill G is a flatty. I know Bill G.
Sure, I'm not saying that he is a reason. I'm just saying that there's going to be a general feeling from the chat if you're a globehead that you're going to get your head kicked in.
Oh yeah. The Globetrotters, they don't fare very well against our regular chat audience. I mean, these guys get in there and just get destroyed, hammered hard. So
here, shout out to Bill G. I was artillery for 4 years in the Marines, and no Coriolis and Earth curve isn't taken into account. Good one. Now I know where you stand, Bill G.
Shout out to Bill G.
Bill G is cool. Shout out to Bill G. Shout out to Dave Rakia, Gafford. Shout out to Cleary. Shout out to all the real flat earth heads holding it down in the chat, destroying these globers that can't come in the chat and make any points because they get murdered immediately. Shout out to all of y'all.
Yeah. Shout out to John Thor for making Timmy very, very scared.
Shout out to Timmy for coming in here looking mad nervous.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Looking mad, suspect, and nervous, and just like, what's going on here, buddy? I thought flat Earth didn't phase you. I thought you were retired already.
I didn't understand that at all, Chocolate. What was that all about? I was trying to find out his motivation so he didn't have to divine it now, but I hope to get to that point because I was like, this is very strange.
I have no idea. I don't know. I haven't seen Timmy in the last time he was here. I don't know what's going on with that guy. Every other day, or the last time I heard, I'm done with flat Earth, and I don't know. I don't know what he's about. But it was quite cute that Jose came on this morning with his little tantrum, and then this clown follows afterwards. So yeah, I don't know. Correlation is not causation, but coincidence? I don't know.
Oh, well, he was very welcome. I was glad to have him here. It was nice to argue about some of the points. Obviously, he's reluctant to argue points he knows he's going to lose on, which is all of them.
You know what I think now is like when you have a rat nest and when you like lift a big stone and there's like hundreds of rats and they all start running in all different directions. I think it's what we're seeing now with the globeheads.
I'm not sure if Tim made a point. Did he?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, he did. He made a point that he has no point.
The only point Timmy did is that he's in despair.
Did you say this pair as a Neil deGrasse Tyson pair?
Wow.
Gold. Despair.
He was disorange in Ranty's book, wasn't it?
He was this orange in Ranty's?
Yeah, in the book from about 100 years ago, Ranty presented it about 2 or 3 days ago, And when they're qualifying how the heliocentric model should be argued, it was described as being like an orange oblate spheroid. Think of it as like an orange. Words to that effect.
Orange, we got a pear, but we still don't have measurable curvature. It's weird.
Yeah, we didn't even get to that on Tim's observation. I was trying to lead him into a point where we were talking about what was going to cause the obstruction that he claimed. So we could say, oh, no, you're using an arbitrary position where the sky appears to meet the ground and reifying it into the edge of a sphere that's causing your obstruction at the point of diffraction. That's unfortunate. Reification fallacy. We didn't get that far, though.
Nah.
Of course. I like that he left at the point that I had him, because I didn't qualify which non-inertial spinning reference frame wasn't going to give us a deviation with powered flight. And as soon as I said roundabout, it went. Great.
Yeah, your dismantlement of Coriolis arguments is just fantastic now.
I've got to the point that I can lead them now. Lead them where, because I know all their arguments inside out, so I can lead them where I want them for the next example. And to the point where Tim's just going to leave. He knows he's lost. It's like, great.
Well, their argument between powered flight and non-powered flight is so ridiculous, as if the Earth knows what to stop for and what to move for.
Well, do you heard?
Excuse me. According to Globetard Brenda, a glider is considered powered flight.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, she didn't know how to get around that. To his credit, Tim did a much better job, because he was like, maybe. And what am I going to do? Go, oh, I've been on a hang glider and it doesn't do that. So he did a lot better. To his credit.
I heard the baby with the upward flexion. Yeah.
But did you hear Timmy went explaining that the plane flies during its 4 powers or something in that manner, or 4 forces? What?
But they sound like they actually think, by using the word powered, that it gives them an out. If the Earth is rotating underneath, it's rotating under everything, whether it's powered or not. This is so dumb.
Was the football that Mr. DeGrasse was talking about, was that powered flight? Because apparently that showed deviation, right? I mean,
yeah.
So was that powered?
Well, is the hot air balloon powered?
No. His argument would be the pendulum, gyroscope, his bullet, and a football aren't powered flight. Therefore, there's no way for them to counteract any deviation that you'd see from the non-inertial reference frame and aren't going to experience from the plane. But nevertheless, you wouldn't need to account for that, which you would not see in this argument from Tim. So therefore, the plane isn't going to experience any Coriolis effect. Well, at that point, I was like, okay, so you're saying that a drone can take off from a non-inertial spinning reference frame and not experience any deviation? His answer, yes. Oh, so my drone on a roundabout goes up and it doesn't deflect? Wrong.
And how is a hot air balloon powered?
Gas pressure inside of a container.
Right.
To which side of the balloon? There is no vector.
Don't say container.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
No, the balloon.
No.
The balloon is the container.
No. What the one's cleverly done there is say, the argument would suggest that, forget my roundabout demolition. Forget I've given that. We're at the point where you say, no, you don't see any deviation in powered flight helicopter. It can hover. Oh, right, okay. So not powered, i.e. bullet, or hang glider, or hot air balloon, will see deviation. So we see deviation in a hot air balloon then, because that's not classed as powered, right? No, we don't see any deviation in that either. Right on the one. Nice example.
Well, I think it's just hang time. And if you have an airplane, you have more hang time because of the power. If you have a bullet, you have less time in the air because obviously it's not continuous. But the Earth is still spinning underneath both if the Earth is still spinning.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Correct. The problem being that powered flight, that is their get out, when in reality powered flight extends the hang time and gives you a greater deviation. Of course. Yes. But they just say, oh no, because it's powered, there will be no deviation.
I love it.
That's so good.
Well, it might be flowered for them because they're trying to peddle something.
Flowered pite. That's what it is.
Flowered pite.
It's nonsense.
He's a schmuck.
But he missed us, apparently.
I think it's Nathan every night.
We're asking almost the impossible here when they make known the insufficiency of their cognitive.
There's still questions I have as far as.
Go on, go ahead. Questions you have what?
Sorry, Okay, sorry. I didn't know if I was cutting somebody off. I still have questions about exactly what satellites are, man. I mean, I work for a company and I point at something every single day. I know they're not what I'm told. And, you know, I've talked to people who actually do the internet portion where they have those dishes that are almost pointed directly towards the ground. And if you're in like country, you know, you'll see those silos at farms where they have the antennas on top of them. Well, I've asked guys that work for those, so well, what do you do if you have a place where you have no line of sight? And they say, well, what I can do is if there's a place next to that place where I'm coming from, I can actually point towards their dish and piggyback off them in order to get signal. I thought that was really interesting and thought that there's one thing that I want to try, which I just haven't had the time, man, is use a wing dish to point at one of our dishes to see if I can get any kind of signal off it.
Wouldn't they just claim it's being relayed, as in it's travelling the shorter distances around the curve?
Yeah, but it's still ground-based from the internet portion, because that's why, I mean, you'll see like every 15 miles, you'll see a tower.
Yeah, no, I appreciate what you're saying. I mean, I mentioned this a few shows gone by about Robin Poe and my interview with her, where she's talking about linking up radio relays. And yeah, they're ground to ground. These transceivers that she's connecting have a set distance to give you the relay. Let's say it's the same as these ground antennas at 15 miles. But upon not being able to get one of those relays, which is what you're describing getting, and the argument from their side will be, no, it's just relaying around the curve. But in her instance, she couldn't get the relay, so she pointed back at the point source, the original transmission, 115 miles away, and got a connection. Now, in that case, when you're travelling from point to point, you're proving Earth's flat. There's no obstruction between the transmissions. But if you're picking up from another dish, you're just going to be picking up a relay, which could be easily argued is just, you know, it's going from one point without any obstruction, because there wouldn't be any over this short distance, and then the next point, and then the next point. So unless you can find the original transmission, it's not really going to be proving much. Sorry.
And Robert Bassano and I over 3 years ago identified that these satellites, what they call satellites, they're all on balloons. I mean, this is 2015, early 2016 arguments.
I get it, man. It's just that it's some things I just can't wrap my head around. I mean, no matter what man says, I choose to believe God over man. I know this isn't where that's at, but I'm just saying. But it's just some things that I can't wrap my head around because I work with them every day. And I know that there's places where I think I have a perfectly clear line of sight and I can't hit squat. And that baffles me. But then I get to places where I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get something. Yet I have, I mean, hugely high signals. I mean, it's just insane.
What's your question?
what am I pointing at, I guess. I mean, I'm like just, it's just, it just seems like it's actually going to a place in the sky, but it's like, I'm wondering if there's another thing that's pointed in the same place where that's where I'm getting my transmission from, where it's just like a focus of that signal, and it's not really like there's, yeah, man, I don't know, man. It's just some things, man, I just can't wrap my head around.
Are you referring to something that's like bounced from parts of the atomic plane, or?
Absolutely, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, it's just, I don't know if it's an actual object up there that I'm actually hitting. I think it's just a point of location of where these signals are meeting. You have one that's transmitting and then one that's receiving. Because all the dishes that I use, they only receive unless I'm doing internet, which is a completely different dish because it does have a transmit and a receive.
Can I ask you something on that Ryzen?
Absolutely.
About the transmitter, is that directional or is it omnidirectional?
I know it comes in a different phase. It doesn't come in up and down. It comes in like side to side. I forget what it's actually called. But I know that you have to cock the dish in order for those signals to separate at a certain skew. So you have to actually, there's a skew, azimuth, and elevation. So you have to skew the dish on those, because normally if you're only pointing at one signal, you keep your dish at 90 and done. But whenever you're doing internet, when you have transmit and receive, you have to cock it a little bit in order to separate those two so those transmissions don't, conflict.
Well, we know what it's not. We know that it's not hunks of metal flying around Narnia. So it's definitely not.
I absolutely agree with you, John. And I love you guys, man. I really appreciate all of you guys, man. I listen to you all the time. I can't be on here very long. I'm just getting my my vehicle, my van, oil change, and I had a second, man. It's the first time I've ever been on, but I listen to you guys daily. Both of you guys, man. I appreciate your channel too, Quantum. You guys are awesome.
Well, thank you. Hey,
yeah, thanks.
While you're getting your van fixed, go ahead and ask the mechanic. Ask him if you can get the tire pressure, but you don't want to buy the tire. You just need the pressure, right? You can't afford the tire.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's okay to turn to your Bible. I'll have to say that.
Yep, absolutely. I choose to believe God over man, no matter what. That's
Wise move.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you too, brother.
Yeah, cheers for coming up.
Discord Globetardians, come off mute and share your pain.
It might be good to move them into the after show. We're still on the live stream.
They're still in the live stream? Okay, I'll move them.
No, we're still live. Just keep it as is for that.
Never mind. Sorry, never mind.
We'll be ending shortly, about 3 or 4 minutes.
Oh, wow.
We'll go into the after show. If
Yeah.
you're watching, hold on, just because I've said that now, if you're watching on Nathan Oakley 1980, don't go anywhere. There will be an after show.
Well, I'm going to start
4
referring
more
to
hours.
them. I'm going to start referring to them as science deniers.
Spot on.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Didn't we already go over this?
We did, but I think
Well,
it's just an affirmation of what we've all come to the conclusion of. Basically, 2015, 16, 17, we were told science proves the Earth is a sphere. Now, they're telling us that science doesn't prove anything, and how their pseudoscience doesn't need to prove cause. In other words, globetards are science deniers.
Yeah, they're
Yep.
used to globetards, they're used to globies, globe zombies, but now 2019 science deniers.
Yes, reality deniers. The science goes along hand with reality. Scientific method. That's what progressed humanity. Not beliefs in flying balls in Narnia.
Hey, is this show going out live?
Yep.
Hey, I got a shameless plug. Today, 2 p.m. US Central, 8 p.m. UK on the Quantum Eraser channel, we have inertia versus mole versus mass. Be here, Quantum Eraser channel, or be sphere.
Cool. Very good plug. Just for
Sounds
those,
like a
just hold on. Just for those watching on Nathan Oakley 1980, who will be watching this on Friday, you'll have an episode of Ballbusters airing at 2 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. UK on Saturday. So again, Quantum Eraser channel, be here or be sphere.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting to watch, Huey. I'll be there and not gonna be here.
Cool. With that, I will say, if you are watching this on Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live on the Nathan Oakley channel, then this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. Again, a massive thank you to all of today's debating panel for making this live show possible. Stay tuned if you're watching on Nathan Oakley 1980. I think someone's just smashed the super chat. Let's see who that was. Just give you a quick shout out. If I can find you. No, I can't. I'll have to give you a shout out on the after show. So massive thanks to all of you who tuned in on Nathan Oakley. Stay tuned if you're watching on Nathan Oakley 1980. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Sadder debates.
Couldn't get to the. I started uploading the last show, so it goes out tonight, which will be yesterday for the people watching this now. But I couldn't get to the super chat quick enough. Let's shout him out anyway, or her. Colin Dresser.
Colin Dresser. Yeah.
Says, share your pain, ballers. Thank you for the super chat, Colin Dresser.
And now science is still progressing humanity because we're dismantling the stupid religion of the zealot goldheads because of science and reality.
Yep. Evident now. They're changing rhetoric. They're bullshitting their way around science because they have none.
They're science deniers.
It's pretty pathetic, actually.
Right, just in case the fundies in the Discord server are waiting for me to disappear. So at this point, I will actually disappear, although I'll still be there, if that makes sense. I'm going to go make coffee. Back in a bit.
Hey, Nathan, before you go, after the after show. Yeah, I know. Before you go, after you close out the after show, just a couple minutes shop talk. Okay?
Yeah, but that'll be in about an hour before you kill the conversation when there's an hour left.
All right.
So, Adam, yes, I don't know if we gave you any praise for yesterday's show. At one point, you were like, aren't you just appealing to authority by having me and John here? Because we're...
Yeah, I was just teasing Riley there. Yeah, fun.
No, that was the proper way to spank someone's ass. That's the way to do it. Obviously, he's questioning Anthony, and to have you guys there coming, just going along with what Anthony's saying and going, no, this is below 5th grade general science. This is obvious, and just by the very tone of both you and John, the other John, Dr. John D, you're kind of almost questioning why it would even be asked that you would be there for such seemingly obvious questions. You know, that was the tone that both of you gave across. And I'm just smiling from ear to ear while you're doing it. You're like, especially John, because he's like, isn't this obvious? It's just great.
Really quite frustrated when we were waiting before. He was like, "This is just ludicrous."
Yeah, Adam had a hard time bringing it down, dumbing it down to like such a basic argument level. You could see the struggle.
Yeah, but he's so damn polite, Adam. It almost makes me sick. Adam, get stuffed.
Oh, will, sir, will.
Well, Adam is ace.
It was a weird experience because Riley asked me at first to try and be the baller, but it was an impossible position to actually to even try and defend it. You know, the best I could do was at some places try and mitigate, which wasn't so much mitigation; it was more like correcting what they'd assumed was the independent variable or whatever it was.
Yeah, but
it was just odd.
Yeah,
you couldn't help but be overt though. So, like for example, earlier on the show, you corrected me with the nose down, but for an audience member, there'd probably be quite a high percentage that probably wouldn't even pick up on the fact that you were correcting me. In fact, I was smiling from ear to ear because I knew my knuckles are getting wrapped by you, but so subtly and so politely.
I wasn't so much telling you off. I was just thinking you may have missed the point.
Yes, but that's so kindly phrased. I think you may have missed the point here. Yeah, you know I'm wrong. You know how to correct me. It's just brilliant. I think it's ace. I love you, Adam. You're ace.
Very much. That's funny. Yeah.
Well, okay. What was this guy? See, I'm a little bit behind the curve on this. This John Watson. What is his? He said he had a thesis, right? What's his background? What is it in?
He's a pseudoscientist.
Yeah, we know that.
I know that. Is he a biologist? Is he a physicist? What is he?
I heard Anthony mention physics, but then we were talking about fish.
Yeah, and location being the independent variable, eh?
Yeah.
I think he did physics in the late Muppet Show.
The Muppet Show. Yeah. Also, another thing I want you guys to be aware of, and I caught it last night, is the equivocation fallacy between controlled and control variables. So just be aware of that. Controls and constants, right? Because Adam, you know this. Friggin' a control group, you're dealing with population health and epidemiological studies. Controls are sometimes synonymous with constants. However, in that particular genre, a control or controlled is a control group, right?
Yeah.
So they were using that a little equivocation fallacy with, do you control? Because some of these guys in the citations say that you control the independent variable. It's just it's just clumsy. They shouldn't do that, but they did. But I just want to bring that to the light.
Well, I struggle to understand why you'd call a control variable a variable. Well, because you can vary it, you just don't. It's something that potentially could change, but you want to hold it constant. And in so saying, you eliminate control groups from that scenario when you call it a control variable. So it suddenly the terminology makes more sense for that reason, I think.
Yeah, I think it's when you're dealing with science and when you're dealing with studies.
Yeah, he was doing a study.
Yeah, no, that was the point. Confusion of last night. You're trying to formulate it in science when it was clearly a longitudinal study.
Right. Exactly. Studies are not experiments, people. Okay? If you didn't realize this by now, you got big problems, right? Because you're a pretender clown.
On the face of it, though, there's nothing wrong with studies, right? But the problem comes when, in order to assert I can't think how to phrase this, like a passed off empiricism with a study, you would assert science, which is precisely what he's done. So by definition, this John Watson guy becomes a pseudoscientist, not because his study's invalid or because he hasn't counted the beans correctly, nothing like that. It's because he's asserted it as science, and it isn't. There's nothing wrong with being open and saying, this is my study data, and you can take it at the face value that it has, and you can look at it and you can potentially contradict it, pick flaws in it. That's not what you do with science. Science is empirical. At the end of your systematic experimentation stage, you've either validated the alternative or validated the null, hence your empiricism. There's no question about it. There's no picking flaws in it at that stage. That's it. You've got your empirical result. You've confirmed your cause. But if you want to have that empiricism lending credence to your assertions after a study, you have to fall into the category of pseudoscientist and say, no, this is science. What do you mean you're looking for a cause? No, that's not what science is. That's why they call it pseudoscience. You're going to have to deny actual science, cause and effect reasoning, to try and steal the validity that actual science offers when you don't have it. And that's precisely what he was guilty of. So I was really harsh on him in the chat. I'm like, you're a fraud. Not because I'm attacking his study, but because he's asserting it as science.
And technically, wouldn't a study be necessarily just looking for a correlation? It's so you're observing to see if there's a correlation somewhere.
Yes, that's correct. That's exactly what it is, right? Yeah, it's correlation, right? They don't understand that hypotheses, hence experiments, only deal with cause and effect questions, not what is questions, not measurements. Measurements in itself is not science. Do you measure things in science? Yeah. Well, you also use pens and pencils in science, but pens and pencils aren't scientific. Duh.
Share my screen. I'm screen sharing. Independent John and another globehead doing science.
Me.
That's him giving the look at the independent variable.
Good stuff.
The other bit, Nathan, that I thought they raised really quite well that within that was the systematic manipulation, and this is the whole point. There is no systematic manipulation with a fish. It was just all they did was go and get two different data sets. Yeah, by what they thought was their variable, which was location. All that did was then provide them with two different data sets of the same thing, one being fish health, one being toxin level, and then assigned a correlation to it. It doesn't matter how strong and logical it is. There was no science there, and there was no actual manipulation. They tried to pretend that the varying levels of the toxin was in some way then manipulating the independent variable. And whilst there is some change in that factor, and it is one of the things you're looking at, in no way could you consider it systematic manipulation.
What? So the hypothesis was what? Location causes what?
Yeah, and that was the other point, obviously. Yeah, the only thing you could ascribe to in this study as the independent variable, if you were trying to link it to some real experiment, would be it was location. That was the only thing you were varying, and then you were measuring what the variance of the other things were at those locations, both amount of toxin and number of eyes the fish have.
It's non sequitur.
Hold on. That's not correct. Hold on. He changed his story. That's why this is going to get a slightly incoherent answer from me. So, it started off with the ivy. The cause is being asserted as what Anthony said. No, that's the observed phenomena. The pollution originally is the asserted cause of the effect. When push comes to shove in the chat, he then changes it to location. So he hasn't got a viable hypothesis in terms of location. We've already covered that. But the original assertion was that the IV is actually the DV. So he's got the pollution, the claim to be natural phenomena, obviously not if it's man-made pollution. But that's what he's saying is the cause. And then he's studying, as you put it, what did you call it? What kind of group? Group sets or something? I've forgotten what you called it, Adam.
I'm there now.
There's groups of the sets that he's taking at the different locations. So that's what he's taking, but it isn't actually changed his story. He changed what he was asserting as the cause, whilst also saying it's not about cause. So it was just a cluster screw. But he changed it halfway through. It did get caught. I think it was John, the other John, that pointed it out. That it might have been Anthony, but somebody on the panel, one of you, pointed out that no, he's actually changed what he's claiming the cause is.
I think it's John Deere.
But then he did that to the rolling of the dice on different surfaces, which is the same bullshit story.
Wait a second. That's another problem. That is not natural science.
No.
Dice have nothing to do with natural science.
Can I say
probability,
something
hold on a second. Probability and likelihood is induction. And induction has zero place in the scientific method. It is only abductive and deductive reasoning. Looks like I'm going to have another class on that again.
No,
go ahead.
What I meant, John, is that he was explaining how rolling the dice on different surfaces is what's manipulating the independent variable. And then he compared that to the river experiment by changing location, which is absolute bullshit.
It's non sequitur.
Well, but couldn't this? What I was going to bring up is that study, so to speak, could be turned into a scientific investigation. Because if you think the pollution is the cause of the three-eyed fish, then you manipulate the pollution, stop the pollution, or put it in a controlled environment to see if the pollution is causing put other fish in the environment.
That's the only way you could do it, because all the other variables that you can't account for, the ones that you do know. What about the ones that you don't know?
Yeah, he covered that. He covered that. He said you put it into a controlled environment. So he's saying you put it in a tank that's got everything else, the level of oxygen and whatever else, all controlled, and then you add your pollution. But what you'd quickly establish is that your phenomena is not a natural phenomena. That's what you'd find out.
Yeah, but you could. It would be very difficult, damn near impossible, to replicate the river environment. Right?
Very
How
difficult.
would you do that?
You're right, but it's not beyond the realms of science. In certain circumstances, you could do this scientifically, and that's the point that Paul's making. But this isn't what he's done, so who cares?
I'm saying that you couldn't replicate everything in that river. No way.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it could be the unicorns peeing up the river that's causing the three-eyed fish, right? It could be them.
Okay.
No, we don't have to go down the absurdum rule. I'm just saying.
I'm playing
Yeah.
my thing.
Yeah. I see where you're going, but it would be very difficult to replicate. Like I said, I don't want to beat this dead horse anymore, but it would be very difficult to. I mean, you could replicate a lot of it, but a lot of things, like I said, it's the things that you don't know. That's the problem.
Okay, so you're actually.
Hold on a second. Adam brought up a good point too during that debate. He said, "Well, what if it's not the pollution? What if it's the pollution just affecting their prey? Right? There's another problem."
Okay, so to summarize, you're saying the issue isn't that you couldn't observe a natural phenomena, because that could be argued, or even that you could establish a presumed cause of the effect. The problem actually comes in the control variables. You're not going to be able to hold everything constant, and if you did, you might also affect the outcome because one of them might be the cause. So you're saying it's the control variables that hide the biggest issue in this study.
Yeah, they call them confounding variables, the ones that you don't know are impacting. Yeah, so this is a train wreck of epic proportions.
So,
go ahead.
Would it be the case that they would argue that gravity is a, what did you call it, compounding variable?
No, confounding. C-O-N.
Confounding.
Charlie Oscar November, Foxtrot. Oscar Uniform November. Confounding.
Okay, so they take what would be a potential confounding variable that doesn't exist, and that becomes gravity, right? I know I'm segueing away from this. I'm just trying to figure out in my mind what a confounding variable is.
Look it up.
Let's get into the other nonsense that independent Johnny mentioned about him rolling dice on different surfaces to prove that the dice are weighted.
This is mommy's shirt. Sorry, didn't realize I was on. Hold on.
Go ahead. Somebody look it up. Put it on screen.
I'm looking. Confounding variable is an extra variable that you didn't account for. They can ruin an experiment and give you a useless result. They suggest there is correlation when in fact there isn't. What's this site? This is Statistics Central or something like that. There you go.
Exactly what independent Johnny did. Statistics.
Don't call him John, please.
Yeah, Johnny Pseudo.
Use his last name.
Johnny Pseudo.
Okay.
Use his last name.
Pseudo.
I think the example I gave with regards to the poison only affecting the fish's prey would be the confounding variable in that analogy. I think because it's affecting what you think you're completely wrong is what it's actually saying. The data set you're collecting isn't what the experiment is testing. Is the way I'd view that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. As I said, it was a train wreck of epic proportion, and Dr. John D, put it succinctly when he said, like Nathan was talking about, your guys' tone was like, why the hell are we even here talking about this? I mean, this is primary school, and he is exactly right. Primary school, Watson clown. Thanks for exposing yourself unwittingly, Mr. Thesis. Hey, I'll tell you what. Why don't you get your thesis advisor on the phone? I want to have a little chat with him. Clowns.
So his family name is Watson, so independent Watson.
Yes, sir.
Independent pseudo Watson.
Just let them speak, folks. Give them some air and let them speak, and they do all your work for you.
QA, can I add something? Make popcorns, put on the scientific blanket, and let them speak.
Yeah, that's where people like Jose do have a very useful input in this regard. He gives them the opportunity, the fundy globeheads, to just spew their nonsense with their doublespeak and contradictions aplenty. So, based on that, you can take their shite to pieces very easily if it's uninterrupted. Here, obviously, they'd prefer that it wasn't taken to pieces in real time, so they're not going to come to have their arguments taken to pieces. Doesn't mean that QE isn't going to have an endless, you personally, QE, will have an endless stream of people spewing nonsense and rhetoric and doublespeak and contradictions to pull apart at your leisure on your channel.
I'll make them stars on my show.
Exactly. You sum it up quite nicely when you say these people think that they've got a high degree of education or something. I can't remember how you phrase it exactly, but they think they're intellectuals. There you go. And Toady exemplified that beautifully yesterday in Anthony's chat. You know, he's speaking in a manner that suggests an air of intelligence, like he's under the impression that he's actually really smart. And he's not.
Well, he's not. Like I said, Tony not only is toe tagged twice dead, and demonstrated there's a difference between calling somebody something and demonstrating that claim. Now, he's a demonstrated liar. We already toe tagged his experiment like 3 or 4 months ago. Friggin' lunatic, didn't even know how to formulate a hypothesis, right? And then he has the friggin' gall to challenge Adam in chat, right? And like I said, it was like Elmer Fudd challenging Richard Feynman. It was a joke. And his claim, what the heck was his claim again?
Can't remember. Can you remember, Adam?
First, he was very rude, asking me, did I know any science? So I remember asking him, I thought he's disappointing because he normally tries to claim his opinions are based in some research. So then he pleaded, he hadn't had time to look into me. And then there was just that waffle about, well, if it's all pseudoscience, why do universities have these departments? Which,
That was it. Are you suggesting they're all pseudoscience departments? And I've got to be honest, from the chat, I was getting very, very annoyed with this because he's questioning your credentials, saying he hasn't had an opportunity to look into you. And I patiently waited. Your reaction was to reel off your credentials. And after you'd done it, I said, what's your name? I thought I'll ask him one of the most basic social things you can ask somebody. What is your name? And he refused to give it. These people are terrified. So on the other side of the argument, you've got these depressed fundies who are terrified to even say their own name. On our side, we're praising the virtues of adherence to the scientific method. Pseudoscience globeheads, science deniers who are terrified of their own name. On our side, people are reasonably open with their name, who they are, and what they mean when they say Earth's flat.
I'm more than happy to stand up and give my opinion publicly and put my name by it. It is very interesting that the majority of the ballers tend to be pseudo personalities.
So he red herring fallacies, diversion, that's what a red herring fallacy is, away from the topic, and then ask him about his credentials and why are the pseudosciences considered science at universities. It's probably just like, the Catholic priests are considered priests under Catholicism, right? They're not going to put perverts, child molesters underneath them or over top of their name, right? They're going to say priests. Yeah, you get it? Clown show, retard, liar, demonstrated, clown. Why don't you do a radio bounce off that, you friggin' retard? This guy, it's so funny. 2 weeks ago on, I think it was Ranty's show, he didn't know that the non-visible EM spectrum was light. 2 weeks ago, he didn't know that. And now he's an expert in radio bounces? I mean, are you kidding us? Do you think, are you so deluded that you think that nobody can see you? Hey, essay, friggin' retard. Keep on talking, right? Keep on talking. Bring those PhDs on the panel. That's who we want. Pretty please, with sugar on top.
And how many PhDs do you have, QE?
I'm a 5th grade general science graduate. Thank you.
What's 5th grade?
At this point, it's pretty much all you need.
I would just speak to that because there's a reverence that's paid to this post-degree training. And certainly from my point, I mentioned about 15 years ago, I did some academic work and was offered to do a doctorate on it. And all a doctorate is to go away and specialize in one very, very precise, narrow field and produce a thing of excellence, whether it's experiment or whatever the doctorate, whatever the subject's in. It's a long and arduous task of great detail and intricacy to produce your doctoral thesis. That's what it is. It's a lot of hard work, and it opens doors in certain other directions. But what it doesn't mean is you're more intelligent than the other graduates that go off and do other things. And it frustrates me as somebody that doesn't hold a PhD but educates. And I've helped a number of people with my business, my pharmacies, to complete their PhDs, to gather the data for their PhDs. I advise on, so you know what I mean, and act and do the same function as people with PhDs within the uni. So it's an odd thing to add reverence, and I think for me it doesn't really matter. It's what's being demonstrated by the ball. It's whether you actually comprehend the scientific method, whether you comprehend the data and are intelligent enough to actually understand it. And if you have that qualification of being able to comprehend it and understand it, then that to me is sufficient. Anything else is appealing to authority.
Mr. Knuckle Dragger, do you know what? Not you, Adam. The Knuckle Dragger. Do you know what PhD stands for? Let's start there. Hello, essay, Mr. PhD questionnaire. What does PhD stand for? Is my mic working? Essay.
Who are you talking
Your mic
to?
is working. I can hear you.
Let's go. What does PhD stand for?
Can I put him out of his misery?
No, please, not yet. Don't even know, do you, you clown? PhD. We ain't even going to say it until he says it. You know more and more about less and less and less. I've known PhDs that couldn't friggin' tie their shoes without serious assistance. A number of them, right? You don't even know what they are. What's the difference between a master's degree and a PhD? Essay. Don't look it up. Tell me.
$100,000.
Good point. So where's the essay? Who was that talking? And was that Discordian Globetard?
Highlander.
I think it was Highlander.
Is he looking it up?
Are you going to answer? I don't want it to just get forgotten what PhD stands
It's
for.
not going to get forgotten. Say again?
I don't want it to get forgotten and then the audience never finds out unless they go and look it up, which they might be lazy and not bother.
No, it's not going to get lost. I got it.
Okay,
I'm just waiting for his answer. We moved on from the PhD question because if you don't know right off the top of your head, I mean, you're a moron. You don't know what you're talking about. I want him to tell us the difference between a master's degree and a PhD.
And I'm actually getting ready for work because I work night shift.
Okay, but just off the top of your head, do you know what a PhD is?
I just told you.
I didn't hear you. Do you want to try just say it again?
But maybe that's because QE talks too much.
So PhD is what?
Doctor of Fallacy?
Doctor of Philosophy.
That's what I said.
Okay.
All right. So next question before you have to go to work and feed the dog, take the cat out, brush your teeth, brush the cat. What's the difference between a PhD and a master's? besides the cash?
That I don't know.
Yeah, I figured. It's time to go back to your true vocation, picking up cans alongside of the road, supervised.
Hey guys, I gotta drop.
I don't
So
pick up cans from the side.
see you maybe next week. And thanks for all the science deniers that came in the show today.
See you later, dude.
You see what I mean, folks? When you just challenge these people with simple questions, this is what you get.
If you if you put me on the spot, I would describe a master's as being a specialist study, but then how would I wouldn't be able to distinguish that between a very focused study and a very, very focused study. I wouldn't be able to distinguish between those two, even though I've got a fair grip on what they both are. What, in essence, I'll just ask, what is the difference between a PhD and a master's?
I'm not giving the answer to them.
But I want to know, because I'm saying I'm declaring ignorance, unless you're going to leave me hanging in spite of my sacrifice and declaration of ignorance in this regard. I've got a reasonable idea about what both of those entail, but now you're saying, well, what's the difference? I think about it and go, what is the difference? Other than one being higher than the other.
I'll let you know once you end the show.
Oh, you bugger. Okay.
I'm enjoying this pub quiz.
Just out of interest, don't give me the answer. Do you know the answer, Adam?
After the show, then I'll give you the answer, and then John can confirm it's right.
But so you're saying you think you know the answer? Fine. Okay.
Well, the difference is pharmacy used to be just a straight honours degree. It's now a master's degree. Can't do it.
So more specific.
Can I have a guess? Can I have a guess?
More specifically, it's the difference between a master's thesis and a PhD dissertation, something like that's what I'm going for. So to be more specific.
Can I guess, or would that ruin it?
No, go ahead, guess.
Does one actually have to have a practical demonstration of you applying it, and that would be in the masters?
No.
Okay. But with the masters, you've got to have like previous experience, applied previous experience.
You just can't let it go, can you?
I want to know. I want to know what the difference is now, because I don't want to be that demonstrated crayon muncher that you described earlier.
No. There's a difference between no. You're missing it. There's a difference between somebody who just doesn't know, and then somebody that comes on, diarrhea of the mouth with PhD this and PhD that. There's a difference there.
Oh, I see what you mean. So I'm not saying, oh, well, you don't have a PhD, Quantum Eraser, and then you go, what is a PhD? And I go, well, I see what you mean.
Right. Like a lot of my neighbors are globetards. I'm not going over there, ripping their lungs out. There's a difference. They're not out there on the circuit trying to fraud people and put on airs that they're something that they're not. They're not doing that. So I'm not going to go after them. Not at all. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference here. To the way the treatment of, just regular people and people pontificating, from their soapbox, there's a big difference, right? So I'm going to rip those pontificators a new one, but the other guys, I'm not. Right?
Oh, I get it.
Follow?
I get it. It's, you're not out there spewing rhetoric, then, you're just a normie. That's why we distinguish between normies and globetards, right? Globetard is a fundamentalist religious zealot who's asserting his faith in a globe model, despite having it pointed out that it's a reification fallacy, despite all of the arguments being taken to pieces, despite their acknowledgement and understanding there's no scientific validity. They come and argue that Earth's a sphere. Your neighbour, if you asked him, is Earth a sphere? He'd say, yeah. That would probably be the extent of his answer.
And I would probably ask some pertinent questions, but I'm not going to sit there and tear him up, right? I'll just let him try to get to the conclusion with some probing questions, and then leave it at that.
How can you have gas pressure without a container?
That's one.
So
Got any more guesses since this is slowing down a bit?
Any more what guesses? Yeah, let's just have a think. I'd given up at that point, actually. It stopped annoying me. Thanks.
You could probably, I don't know, you could probably look it up. I'm sure you'd find something. Maybe not. I don't know.
I've just got to wait 20 minutes because that's how long I'm going to keep the show going.
Oh, it means I'm going to have to go and come back then for pub quiz.
Where you got to go, Adam?
The missus is off out, so I've got to go and prepare tea.
What's for tea?
No idea.
Is it Iron Realm Media tonight? Because it's Friday when this goes out.
It is tonight, yeah. I'm not sure what's going on. We met the guy on Wednesday, Jonathan from Jersey.
Oh yeah.
That was, yeah. Boy, he likes to poke the bear. He was even testing the limits with us just as a giggle, mate. So I think it could be quite a controversial show. We'll see.
Well, he left in a puff of smoke that was controversial. So where's he been? He's been gone for at least 3 years, right?
Yeah, it's a good scoop from Josh.
Oh wow! So Josh has just got him on the hook and gone, "Hey, tell us all about your time with Mark Sargent and what you've been doing since then." And he's poking a few bears here and there, is he?
Yeah. Well, I think Josh and him know each other and have been in touch during those 3 years anyway. Quite friendly, them two. Similar humour. So he said he'd come on and probably give us an update on where he's been and what he's been doing and that since leaving TFR.
The last thing I remember was Orphan Red going on a call with both of them, and in the break, him and Mark are having a little chit chat about her, not realising she can hear every word.
And I can imagine that conversation. I was late to the party last night because I was doing Riley's show, but it was pretty raucous when I got in there, mate, already. So I'm looking forward to Friday, really.
Oh, see, you've chatted to him on the pre-show, right?
Yeah. Just had a little intro, say hi, mate. He was seeing how far he can push things with us all. He's quite an interesting chap.
I was going to say he was always quite edgy. At the time, he was no more familiar to me than Mark Sargent, right? So it's like you're listening to them in equal doses, but he always seemed like the edgier of the two characters.
And he's got some good tales. So yeah, I was only there for about an hour or so, just quickly say hello. So I'm looking forward.
Let's just do a proper plug.
Who
Hold on, I'll do a proper plug and then you can ask Chocolate. So that's Have No Sphere, Friday, 10:30 UK time. What would that be? It'd be 4:30 Central Standard. Be Here or Be Sphere. Iron Realm Media is the channel name.
That's the one. See you tonight after this.
So it's what you ask your question again. I won't answer for him. Go ahead, Chocolate.
I was going to say, Nathan, you're better informed than me, so please do.
Go on, Chocolate.
No, I just wanted to know the name of the guy. I didn't hear the guy's name.
It's Jonathan from Jersey, but in terms of his bio, Nathan's a lot more informed. He's a guy that started out on TFR with Mark Sargent, however long ago that was.
Probably 4 years ago.
And then
it could be coming up for about 4 years ago.
I don't think you'll maybe say it. He's been upsetting people ever since.
I'm definitely going to tune in. This is going to be great.
Let's say we'll see. We'll see how long before we're in real trouble. I'm looking forward to the chat tomorrow night, Nathan.
I'll stick the link if it's timed nicely. Ranty's been messing around with his schedule at the moment because he's having internet problems. So I don't know what time this show will go out exactly on Friday, but I don't care losing a bit of the audience if you're starting live. It'll be worth sticking a link in. So I will. If I'm watching this re-up on the 1980 channel, I'll make sure I spam a link to IRM.
Well, we always waffle for 20 minutes at least first, so you will be any overlap. We should be all right, mate. We should be good.
Awesome. Yeah, no offense to you, but your show tends to go on in the background, so I listen to it with my wife, but I'm not often in the chat. I'll say hello, but then I'll just leave it on, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's nice. It is a long-winded show. It's not something to sit there for all the time. It's a good. I catch up when I'm on, man.
It's a proper show, though. So obviously, we just discussed your pre-show. So I know that you go to some efforts to make sure that you've got like a plan, sections laid out, etc., etc. So it's one that you can just stick on and leave on account of the fact that you will cover quite a few different subjects, have a few different guests. It's good.
Yes.
Much as I hate to admit it, I've enjoyed the ones with Bob Nodell recently.
I wasn't there. I was stuck in having fun in Amsterdam and Kettering.
Yeah, you did your live streaming when he was on the show, basically filling your position.
Yeah, oh, that's not a bad job then. Not a bad deputy. So hopefully, guys, tune in after this, and we'll be heading live. Probably about now. Do we get this masters and stuff out of the way? From my understanding.
Still live. Well, we're not live, as
live. It's only a pile of nonsense. Just I'll give you my understanding of it.
Okay, go ahead.
You can't do a Bachelor of Science in pharmacy anymore. It's just a straight 4-year master's course, and basically you can do a Bachelor of Science and you do a master's in pharmacy. So the master's tends to specialize a little bit. So it's a master of pharmacy, a whole discipline. Okay, so what a lot of people can do is do another year where you take your standard degree and specialize within a little bit more of a discipline. And then, like I said, you then go another level where you really refine the level of research, where you do something unique. Tends to be the thing for a doctorate, something novel. It's not just learning, but where you can actually add. All of them have theses and stuff, but a lot of it is not necessarily your own and stuff, or necessarily forming a new conclusion, just summaries of and a mastering of the subject.
So you're saying to acquire a master's, you'd have to demonstrate an understanding of a very specialist area that might be heavily exposed. However, if you're doing a PhD, you're essentially revealing something new.
Whoa! Wait a second. Are you discussing? Is the show over?
No.
No, I'll go. So
I just got back. I just caught the tail end of that. Did you give it away, Adam?
No. Well, yeah, basically.
In relation to pharmacy. So the other thing is the volume of knowledge and the depth. So the reason that pharmacy was changed from a Bachelor of Science to a master's was that because the topic and the variation in different subjects that formed the whole body of the profession, it was deemed you were too knowledgeable to be just given a Bachelor of Science. You were clearly worthy of more, and you were a master of something, of a profession. So it was you don't have to do that extra qualification in pharmacy. It's the encompassing profession itself has enough knowledge and enough to become a master to get the masters.
So if you were to...
Okay, did you give it away?
We'll find out if I can summarize it now. So if you were to master fixing broken bones and demonstrate your mastery of that subject, you'd get a master's. However, if you developed the electrical fusion method of making bones reconnect, then you could potentially get a PhD.
No.
Bollocks.
Yeah.
No.
No. I've understood Adam's not giving it away then.
No. I see where Adam's saying, wait a second. I see where you're going. It's half right. It's half right. It's not completely right. No. It's a no.
Damn.
Go ahead, Adam.
Anyway.
No, I'm going now. It's been a pleasure.
No, I wanted you to come up against it.
No, he's off. He's got things to do. He's got tea to make. He's got kids to feed. Wife to keep happy.
Like I said, I've always understood, and I'll stand to be corrected, that the others are qualifications of learning, and up to a level, but to do a doctorate, it requires you to suggest something unique or to something novel. Was the phrase I was? Is it something
that part's true? Yes. So you're giving the answers away. Yes, that's true. But in his example, it was incorrect. Do you see why?
No, you have to tell me why my example was incorrect.
Oh God! And this is before the show's over. Yeah, it's already out of the pocket anyway. All right. Well, a master's thesis is you demonstrate your knowledge of the current existing study in the area that we're talking about, the current existing knowledge, whereas a PhD is more focused on one specific new area.
Yeah.
You got it?
I think that's that. We did say that. Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
Is mastering the knowledge of a particular subject, and a PhD is introducing something novel to that.
Yes. So do you see why your example was wrong with the master's candidate?
Okay. I get it.
So I can never use this again because people know it. Now the baltards are going to know it. Yeah, but they're so stupid they'll forget by, 30 minutes or so. So we're good.
That's okay. We're at the hour and 50 mark of a 2-hour show. And the audience retention on this channel is about 20 minutes. Which is excellent. But nevertheless, I think your secret's safe.
Right, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure.
Hey, Adam, we have a talk too, right?
Yeah, Adam. I'll get caught up in the week and I'll get working again, boss.
Hey, boss. I'll catch up with you. We'll take a look at it. All right. Thanks, man.
Take care.
4 more hours.
Yeah, we might get 4 more minutes. My wife's home now, so imminent ending is here. Interesting show, though. So, from what I understand, Jose was recording the pre-show to presumably try and catch me out somehow. Interesting.
Oh, really? He was recording the pre-show. Really? Your show?
Right.
That could create some problems, couldn't it?
If he's
That's
released...
more publicity, isn't it? Makes the show more public.
One way of looking at it.
My question is that a bad thing?
We were headed in another direction. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I am, but I think Nathan knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but that wouldn't be an issue I would raise. That wasn't my questioning either.
I know what you're talking about.
I know what you're talking about, but that's not something I would ever enter into with Jose. I don't think his motivation is in that regard. So no, I know what you're talking about though. Yes, but no, my question would be, well, what was his intentions? He's like, I'll catch him out because what does he think he's going to catch me out on? I don't really understand. But
he couldn't catch out a friggin' nursery school student. He's a certifiable retard. Everyone knows it. I mean, this is laughable.
Hey ho.
Hey, so remember, don't jet out of here. I just need 2 minutes of your time. Couple questions.
Okay.
They're quick questions.
No, but in so saying, you will now completely kill all conversation, won't you? I mean, we'll do a little experiment and see if I'm right.
Okay. Come on, guys, don't leave me hanging here.
I'm on mute.
I'm on mute.
I'm on mute.
I told you. Saying can I have a quick chat with you 2 minutes after you finish. Psychologically, all people hear is when you finish. And they're just waiting for that to happen then.
Yeah, but I'm banking on these people not being on a fluoride drip.
You know you're talking about the panel right now, right?
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna. I'm gonna end the show rather than justifying that.
Most are on double secret probation anyway.
Oh, the panel.
Yeah. So why should I say anything? So hey.
On that feeding back note, I will say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who did tune in on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Of course, a massive thank you to all of today's debating panel for making this after show possible. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley. Tune into Iron Realm Media if they're now playing the Have No Sphere show. I've been Nathan Oakley. I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!